we are going to talk about what is in my bag. I know that's always the question for everyone. What do you use to work out? What gear do you have? What do you use your gear for? What bag do you even use? And what do you need? I know when I started CrossFit, I had no idea. I think my first thing that I purchased was knee sleeves. And I didn't even know why, I just saw that everybody else had them. So now I'm gonna explain to you why I have them, what I use them for, and everything after being in the sport for a while, and a few of my favorite things. First, I'm gonna start with my bag. If you're going to the gym often, then you probably want to have a separate bag for your gym bag. At first I was like, I don't understand. I just come in with everything in my arms, my shoes, whatever else I needed, my water bottle. As you start to acquire more things, you get your jump ropes, your knee sleeves, just have a separate bag. It's super nice, and then you always know where all of your gym stuff is. So the bag that I choose is my Noble duffel bag. I absolutely love this bag. It's huge. I can fit so much in it, and it unzips from the back. So the way it'll flip is I can just lay it down, and I can unzip the entire thing open, which I love because you guys are gonna laugh, but my bag is not always the neatest. I like to claim that I'm neat if you ask my husband, but he would definitely disagree with you. So it unzips, the entire thing opens. As you can see, it's kind of a mess, but I know where everything is, and I know exactly what's in here. So let's go ahead, let's start first, this belt. Here is my two-pood belt. If you've watched any of my weightlifting videos, you will see that I have this glamorous, shiny, sparkly belt on. I actually just recently got it, probably within the last year. I tend to shy away from the leather weightlifting belts. I do have one or two of them. For weightlifting, they seem to be perfect. If I'm specifically doing a heavy squat or I'm doing a heavy lift, I can get it on nice and tight, but it kind of cuts into my ribs. So for CrossFit, I like to go with the ones that are flimsier and that aren't quite as wide because I have a smaller torso. So when I put it on, the big thing I look for is that it almost wraps all the way around my torso, so I don't have this gap in between the belt and where it latches. So it feels super snug around my midline. So yeah, this two-pood belt is amazing. This size, I've had people ask me, they actually run kind of big. I have a 2XS, so that's 2 times extra small. And this is the rose gold color in case you're wondering. Two-pood, it's awesome. Okay, all right, let's see what we can find next. My next piece would definitely be my knee sleeves. So these are actually inside out, but they are all black because I think they're simple, they're clean, they match everything. I've tried a couple different brands and this worked. WORKT, this is the Chris Spieler edition, has been my absolute favorite brand that I've tried. They seem to hold up. I've had these probably for 3+ years. I wore them at the 2016 games, so almost four years now. These are the 7mm. I know a lot of people keep 2 pairs in their bag. They keep a lighter pair for workouts that maybe have high volume squatting, but they don't want the compression on their knees. And then they go to a thicker, so that would be a 5mm sleeve. And then they go to more of like a 7mm sleeve for heavy weightlifting. I try not to become too dependent on them, and I just really like the 7s. And I really like this brand and how they fit. So they're not super thick, they're not super long. I'm shorter, so I don't want a really long sleeve. It's nice and compact, so it just covers my knee, keeps them warm, gives me the compression that I need. I tend to use these for all of my heavy cleans. So if I'm doing a heavy clean day, clean complexes, my heavy snatches, if I'm going, 80+%, I'll put them on. I don't always need them for that. And then definitely squatting. So any back squatting, front squatting, anything like that. If there's lunging in a workout, you may see me pull them up just to have a little extra cushion on my patella if we're having to touch our knee to the ground every single time. Or also I'll toss it around my ankle for a rope climb and it holds up super awesome. But as far as knee sleeves go, I think it's important to not become dependent on them, but they are a great tool to have in your bag when you start to get into those heavier lifts. I guess we'll start with this since it's in my hand, but this is a weightlifting shoe. So I've got actually a couple pairs of shoes in my bag. I do love Noble. I am sponsored by Noble and I think their stuff's the best, but I have a trainer, which you'll notice does not have a heel. I always like to keep a pair of trainers in my bag just in case I forget my shoes that day. And then I also have my weightlifting shoe, which you can see has this solid heel. So for the weightlifting shoe, there's several different ones on the market. I really like the Noble one. I like the leather. I like more of the old school feel and fit and how the heel is not huge. So it doesn't push me really far forward, but it gives me just enough lift and just a little bit of extra help in the bottom of my squat because maybe my ankle mobility or my hips or things aren't quite perfect. So it just helps elevate my heels slightly so I can keep my torso up when I catch my lifts or when I'm back squatting and front squatting. I also love how firm the bottom is, so I can really feel like I'm in good contact with the ground and I have a nice platform to push from because everything starts with the feet. Again, this is not something that you have to have, and I think it's important to not become super dependent on it because there will be workouts that pair heavy clean or heavy squat of some sort where you would love to have your lifters, but then there's also a box jump or a double under in that workout. So you need to make sure that you can do those lifts and you can get into those positions without the lifter as well. But for pure strength movements, I absolutely love this shoe. Next, I've dug out my grips. These ones kind of smell. I've had them for quite a while. As you can see, I've even taped the end. I'm kind of weird when it comes to my grips. Once I break in a pair, like, I do not want to have to break in another pair. I'm going to use these things until I cannot use them anymore. I like the Bare Complex carbon fiber because it's got 3-hole and it covers my entire palm, and it's also super thin. When I used to hate wearing them, and then I quickly learned that with high volume, like, you have to have something to protect your hands. It's just not smart not to. So I've searched and searched and searched, and these are the ones. I wear a medium, so I like it where it's a little bit long, so I can kind of try to get a little hook over the bar, and these allow me to do that. They hold the chalk super well, they're super grippy, they cover my full palm. Sometimes you still can rip with grips, so I have a backup pair that I keep here as well. So I use the Wad and Done, and it's don't rip when you grip. But basically, if you kind of check it out, these are like, it has 3 holes cut in, and it's a piece of tape that I'll put on my hand, wrap around my wrist, and then I'll put my grip over it. And so when I'm competing, I always like to have this in my bag as an emergency backup. If it is gonna be a super high volume day, it also helps with the tenderness of my hands. So I go back and forth between the two, but I highly recommend, if you don't wear grips now, I would look around, try to have something that you can slowly start to break in, because we want to take care of our hands. We don't want to be destroying our hands and ripping every week. We want to make sure that we keep our hands soft and we keep our hands fresh so we can keep working out and not in pain. All right, guys, another thing that a lot of people ask me about is jump rope. So I love the Evo RX Smart Gear rope. It's super awesome. It comes with this really nice pack. I think it's super important to have your own jump rope so you are consistent. Maybe you go to the gym and they have jump ropes there for you, but if the one that you normally use is being used by someone else, then you have to grab a different one, and that might throw off your double unders. I think just knowing that you can count on what the length of your rope is and you can dial that in is so important. Plus, when I travel, I'll just take my jump rope with me, and then I can make up some really awesome workouts, whether I'm in the hotel room, if I'm at the beach, if I'm just outside, and get a super great workout in. I like the RX Smart Gear Evo rope because the handles move super quick. So when I spin it, you'll see I can spin it around. It's super smooth. It flies around. It makes me feel like my double unders are more effort, or not more effort, but effortless. And I can just kind of focus on turning my wrists over. But again, I think having your own jump rope, whether it's an Evo RX Smart Gear, whether it's a Rogue speed rope, whatever it is you want to use, I think that is going to be a very awesome tool for you to have in your bag, and I think it's going to help you dial in your double unders, just always having that consistency of that same rope, that same feel every single time. All right, so we're gonna see what else I have in my bag. This is the stuff that's just kind of, I don't know, random, but I think I use it every day. So let's check the pockets. Hair ties, always need these. They've really come in handy sometimes. I always try to keep an extra one on my wrist when I'm competing, just in case. You never know what's gonna happen. Ooh, pre-workout is what everybody asks me. I actually don't take pre-workout, but instead I chew Neuro gum. So if you've ever seen me in the video, or I'm always chewing on gum, this is what I'm chewing. I usually, before training, before I go compete, I always start chewing a piece, and I swear it just wakes my mind up. It's awesome. I've got headphones, just in case I sit on the bike for a while. Let's see what else. I've got some VersaLifts in here. Don't use those too often. I try to work on my ankle mobility. I've got an extra pair of socks because I hate wearing sweaty socks. A band for all my shoulder prehab. I've got a couple headbands. I don't really wear them all that often, but just in case. I think I look funny in headbands, but I try. And then some wrist wraps. Again, something that a lot of people, I started CrossFit wearing these just about every single day, and I've worked myself off of them to build some strength in my wrists. I'll still have days where my wrists are tired or they act up, so I'll put them on those days, but trying to get away from using them all of the time. I've got my Sidekick tool Flux, which I absolutely freaking love. It vibrates. I use it to wake up, my upper back before I snatch. I've got some Advil because you never know when you've got an ache or a pain. I've got my thumb tape, best thumb tape you can find literally on the planet. It comes in little strips that look like this. So they're pre-cut, just wrap it around your thumb. It's stretchy, you're good to go. Tiger Balm, so if you're at a competition with me, you probably smell me. I don't know, sometimes before I compete, double unders, things like that, if something's tight or sore, I like to load up on this. So when we're in the corrals, everyone can definitely smell me. Some wristbands, hot sweaty days, these are really key. I never used to believe in them, and in the Ohio summer heat, you sweat a lot, and then I slipped through the rings once, and that was terrifying, so now I always put these on. Burt's Beeswax lips. Whenever I compete, my lips get super chapped, so I like to keep that in my bag. Oh, and gloves. So I've burned my hands several times at the games and competitions. I've learned they usually will give you gloves, but just in case, I always keep whatever gloves I have in my bag so I'm prepared. And then food. So I actually keep several First Form bars in my bag because I don't like to get hangry, and no one around me likes when I get hangry. But that's really it. So that's a look in my bag, and a couple, you don't need all of this. A couple of the things that maybe I would recommend getting are definitely the knee sleeves, definitely your own jump rope. If you want to work on specific weightlifting, or having your own belt. It's just nice to know you have that safety and security. I hope you've enjoyed, and comment below for any questions you have on the gear that I have or anything else you want to see.